Hey, what's up everybody? We're in the shop today and we're about to start blending some hair for the cowls for the back of the head on the Krrsantan mask. Said I was going to do a video of hairing the Krrsantan, and that's what I'm working on. Right now I'm just trying to get this tangle out that I got in here. Okay, so the back of the mask is just a mesh cowl like this. Just a piece of mesh, just like you would make your suit out of. And so what we're going to do is latch hook hair onto this and then glue it onto the back of the head. So first thing I'm doing is blending the hair, and I'm using number 1 black, a number B44 gray, and then so I'm using a 6:6:1 ratio. So let's say 6 blacks, so 6 number 1s and 6 44s to 1 of the silver, which is number 60, silver white. So that is what I usually do. Is I'll take 1 braid of the 44, 1 braid of the 1, and then I'll split a number 60 into 6 pieces and blend that little piece into the hair. But I'm just about got this one done here. So I'm going to finish blending this together, and then we'll start latch hooking a cowl. Not a cow, C-O-W, a cowl, C-O-W-L. My wife the other day said, did you say cow? And no, I said cowl. Cowl. Oh man. So let's finish doing this. All I'm using here is just 2x6, 2x6, a 2x4, and then I have some nails coming through this little piece of resin that I made. But you can just do it like this right here, which is just some finished nails nailed into the 2x6. That actually works pretty dang good. All right, we are in business. All I'm doing is just blending this hair together. Takes a little while too. I mean, if you want to blend it really good, which I like to do. Let's comb it out a little bit, just to make sure there's no tangles. I don't know if you can even see it in the, I mean, it probably looks a heck of a lot more gray than it does black, but there's a lot of black in there. The lighting in here is pretty bright, so probably only seeing what looks like gray, but it's significantly darker than, like, say, Chewy's back of the head. His back of his head is gray. Let me see if I can. Well, it's way over here. There's Chewy's back of his head. much darker it is. And then there's Krrsantan. Finished getting this hair blended. Okay. All right. One more comb through and then we're going to cut it. All right. So now what we got to do is cut it into, so you want the hair to be about 8 inches long in the back. And so we're going to do 16 inches. We're going to cut it at 16, and then you fold it in half is when you latch it onto the cowl. So let me cut this. I'll bring you over here. I'm just going to lay it down here on my floor. All right. Let's do this other side. All right, so we're going to do 16 inches. And you don't go right to, I mean, the end is kind of tapered, so I usually kind of come off of the end a little bit, maybe like right there. Do 16. I'm going to need a lot of these too, so. There's 1/16. And now this is, I just cut it so it's flat, so I can go straight on the 16 and do 16 right there. Go off the tapered end here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do it right here. So 16 right there. And then I'll save this little piece for when we do the punching and stuff. I'll use this for that. Save this over here. Yeah, so now we've got a lot of hair to latch to the back of the head. All of this. So, let me get set up for that. And then we'll start latch hooking onto the old cowl there. All right, y'all. Be right back. All right, so now we've got the cowl on a piece of cardboard here, just a scrap piece of cardboard with these little clips holding it down. And we're just going to latch hook. And I'm just gonna start on the bottom, work my way up. I'll probably do a few and show you what they look like and how far they're spaced apart. And then I'm just gonna go to a time lapse because it's gonna take probably about an hour to do, and I don't want to do that entirely on a long video here. So what you do is you just take, I don't know, a few hairs, just like a little pinch of hairs there. See if it'll focus. right there. That's probably, see if I can count them. I'm not gonna be able to count them, but just don't get a huge glob of hair because then it's gonna look funky and you're not gonna be able to get a tight latch on it. So take it in the middle, just twist it or roll it, and then you make a little loop. See if you can see that. A little loop. Go through the hole. We're just starting on the bottom, so let's do right here. Let's see if I can show you this. It's hard to. There's plenty of latch hooking videos out there, but I stuck it through the hole. And now I'm just going to stick my loop, stick it on that loop of hair on there, and then pull it through the hole. So now it's through the hole. And then I'm going to grab this other hair and I'm going to pull it all through that hole there. I don't know if it got on video or not, but pretty much just tying it, you're tying it on there, but you're using a tool to tie it on there. So let's do another one. Got a little thing of hair here. Go in the middle, twist it, make a little loop. Make a loop. And you I skip one. So I'm gonna skip a hole there. Go to the next one. Through the hole. Stick my loop on there. Pull it through the hole. Pull the hair through the hole. Push it up. And then grab the other hair that I'm holding and pull that through it's hard to do showing you. Pull that through the loop. So it's tied on there now. And you just pull it tight. And you got a latch. So there's two. If you need to, go see, there's plenty of other latch hook videos to show you how to do it. But anyways, what I'm doing is I'm doing every other hole, and then I'll go up two into the right one. So I'm kind of skipping a row each time. And I'll show you when I get done how I did that. All right, let's go to the time lapse. Alright, y'all, I'm back in the shop. I was actually latch hooking this in my living room. Just more comfortable in there. But if you do latch hook in your living room, you better make sure you pick up all your hair so your wife doesn't get mad at you. Just trying to help you out. Anyways, so this is all done. So I'm going to take it off. Actually, I'm just going to take the bottom ones off for now, and then I'm going to just brush it. If you saw what I was doing, I was gluing each latch after I finish. I put a little dot of glue on it. There's going to be a lot of loose hair coming off here too, just so you know. It's alright. Alright. After that, put that right there. Take these other ones off. So now we have this cowl is all latched and ready to glue on. So here's my Krrsantan head that I'm working on right now. And what you're going to do is you just you start on one side. You just kind of put it up here, see what it looks like. Mine's going to be kind of at an angle there. And that is about right. I don't like this top part right here. It's kind of annoying. Alright, so put it up there. Have a look at it. See how you can see if you can see that. So I've got it all the way to the side over here, and then it comes all the way to the side over here, kind of a little higher than the temple area. And then the back, it sits good in the back. So I am going to hold it where I've got it. Hopefully I can get my super glue. Let me grab my super glue first. Ugh. Thick stuff right here. I'm gonna put this over here. Alright. I'll just have to re-situate it here. So I've got it on there straight, or the way that I want it. It kind of comes up right here in the back a little bit. That's fine, that's the way I want it. And then it comes to the sides. So I will just take my fingers and keep my spot right there. I'm gonna hold it like that. Take my stick fast, really thick super glue and glue this middle section here. Alright, so that's stuck. And then I'll just switch over here to the side and glue the side here. Come out. There it goes. All right. this side. Yep, like that. Okay, after you get it to where it's, not going to go anywhere, then you can go and glue the rest of it. So I'll just go take a little bead of this stuff all the way around this top here. Careful not to glue your fingers. Okay, there's that side. And now we'll get this side. All right. Nice and secure. Now that it's on there, we can brush it a little bit more. All right. Now he's got his mullet. Sweet mullet. Look at that thing. Just hangs down, your neck's right here. So it hangs down a little past your neck to hide your neck. Next up is doing the dreads or the braids. So they'll be glued on before we hair it. Like completely hair it. I will be separating a braid. I can't remember how many braids I used. I'll figure that out and get whenever we start on the next video here and show you. But yeah, this guy he's getting there. He's got his nice sweet mullet. Got his scars on, and they should be, they're good now. Scars are on. So next up is just doing the braids and then hairing the rest of it. So stay tuned for the next one, and we'll get going on those braids. Alright, so as you can tell, there's a lot of blending on this section, or in this part. We're working on the braids, or the dreads, whatever you want to call them. Some of them look like dreads, some of them kind of look a little more loose than the others. So kind of use your own judgment, look at reference pictures. On my prototype, I just left it pretty loose. I did, I kind of messed it up a little bit. Got the hair a little bit messy, but on these I'm going to do it a little more dread-like than braids. So Yeah, so that was just one. That was one number one, which is a black. This is just a full braid. A number one, a number 44, and then I separated a white, which is a number 60, into 6 pieces and used one of those pieces in this. So this is a black, a gunmetal gray, and a white. One little piece of a white and mixed in there. And it looks super gray on camera, but it's actually pretty dark. So what we're gonna do now is this is gonna be 3 dreads. So I just used my judgment, my hand here, and I separate it into 3 sections that I think feel the same. So let's do, there's one. And then I'll probably add to some of these just by feeling them in my hand. That one feels a little more thick. They don't have to be exact. I mean, you're gonna mess them up anyways here in a minute. That one feels pretty good. Maybe a little bit more. Sorry, you can't even see what I'm doing here. All I'm doing is separating them in my hand, feeling the thickness of the hair, and then feeling the other ones. So those are just about right. That one. Maybe a little bit more in this one. So I got this one, I've got number 2, and then I've got number 3. So now I'm going to lay these out on the ground. Let me turn the camera. There's 3. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the ends flat right here. So I'll probably cut like right there. See if you can see that. Probably cut it like right there, just so they're all flat. Let me get my glove and my scissors. I'm going to cut all of them flat. And I'm going to save this little clipping off the end here. I'm going to save that for whenever we're punching. Might need it. One. Save that over there. This is the messy part. I'm going to grab this, one of them, and I'm going to move you. Sorry, I'm going to have to be moving the camera a lot because there's a lot going on here. So now this part is the messy part. Kind of getting them all straight here. And then get my silicone. This is GE clear Silicone 1, GE Silicone 1. It's what I've read from multiple people is it's exactly identical. Might not be exactly identical, but you can definitely tell that it's almost the same, or if not exactly the same as Silpoxy. So it has a definite Silpoxy smell to it. So you just hold them like this, and we're gonna squirt. Let's see if you can see this. I'm gonna squirt the silicone into the end of this hair right here. All right, you see that? Just a big glob of mess. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to massage that into the hair. I'm going to squeeze it down in there. Make sure I get every fiber covered in this crap. I get some more silicone on here. And this is just on the end here. It's gonna look nasty. It's pretty gross, but this stuff is awesome. It's silicone. Let me make sure I get every single one of those hairs. All right. So now that I've got it all massaged in there, the entire end of this is completely saturated with that. I just kind of take my finger like that and make it flat. So there's one done. I'm going to set this to the side, let it dry, grab the other one. Here's number 2. That hasn't been done. Obviously it's all loose. Gosh dang it. Sticking to everything. This part's super messy. Probably be a lot easier with another person to squirt this. But I'm using my glued hand. See, everything's sticking to me. That one's saturated pretty good. So I'm just going to take it, flatten it out. And then there's another one done. Well, not done, but one's ready to dry. Set this to the side and get the other one. I'm going to get a different glove. This one's covered in crap. All right. Here's number 3. And you just massage it down in there. Sorry, I keep getting off camera. I'm just kind of getting into the groove here. So I'm just kind of smashing it, rolling it, trying to get that stuff all to saturate every single hair in there. And I think I got it pretty good. Smashing it with my fingers, getting it flat. And there's another one. Flat, ready to go. So, for a Krrsantan, excuse me, he has 6 braids. And I'll show you the location of those when we attach them. On my prototype, I did it in the wrong. Well, it's kind of right. I'll just show you whenever we get to it. But after this, you just let those dry, and I've actually got 3 more to do for that mask because I just did 3. Alright, so after you've done all the braids and you've got them separated and glued on the ends like I showed you on the last little section, I just clamp them. Let me get this down here. You might not be able to see my face, but that's alright, you'll be able to see what I'm doing here. So I just clamped it with some hardwood and a C-clamp onto my little workbench here. And you're going to back comb it a little bit. See how it's kind of gross looking? That's how Krrsantan's braids look. Not all of it is dreads. It's kind of like, some of it's kind of loose, some of it's, you know, tangled up together. So what I'll do is just hold it pretty firm, and then I just start kind of combing it back with a plastic comb. And I'm just turning it around. Go a little bit at a time, turn it to the other side, do the other side a little bit. This part's kind of a pain in the butt, but it makes it look nice, or it makes it look like it does in the movie or in the show. So you just kind of keep going like this, and you're just kind of, you can feel it, it's grabbing some of the hairs inside of the bundle there, and it's pulling them, smashing them up. That's why it's giving it that kind of weird, kind of like a dreadlock, but it's like the beginning stages of a complete dreadlock. It's not completely locked together. So just keep on doing that. And I'm gonna probably do a time lapse of me doing this as I'm going along here. That way it's just not an hour of me doing a dreadlock. So I'm gonna do all the dreadlocks, all 6 of them, and come back, and hopefully we'll have 6 nice braids here for Krrsantan, and we can get these mounted onto the mask. All right. Alright, so after you finish that, I'll show you what it looks like, and then I'll do the other ones. I only did one on that time lapse, just because, I mean, I don't need to show you all 6 of them. So now we've got this like ugly mess here, and it's not completely solid, but it's not gonna get tangled up with all the other hair whenever you put it on. And this is pretty long too, so this is probably gonna be the one. This is, I can just measure it. This is 48. It's gonna be 48 inches because this is from the braid. I didn't cut but just the end off of it, so it's probably about 40, I don't know, 45 inches long, or 43 inches long. And if you have a little spots, you know, don't worry about things like this little spot right here. You can always put some hairspray on it and smash it down, but I mean, it's also supposed to be messed up anyway, so that's what you get right there. Just a big turd, pretty much. Turd of hair. So I'm gonna do the other 5, and then we'll come back, and then we'll set these on. I'll show you where I place them on the Krrsantan skull, and then we'll glue them down with some silicone. There it is. Yo, I'm back. I finished doing all the dreads, just back combing and getting them ready. They look like this now. And they are ready to be glued on. So I ended up, there's only one braid that's really long, so I just used the length of when they come out of the packages, they're 48 inches long because they're folded in half. When you unfold them, they're 48 inches long, so it's not going to be completely 48 inches, but it's because you're back combing, you kind of lose a little bit of your length. So the one on the back left is the long one. If you look at screen caps, you'll see that it hangs like down to his butt sometimes, and then most of the time, like when he's sitting down, it's draped across the back and it comes over his right shoulder. And that's actually how they had it at Celebration on the mannequin. His back left braid, the really long one, comes down and then drapes over his right shoulder. And a friend of mine, Charles, he found that out by, you know, just looking at all the stuff, and he pointed that out in the group. So thanks, man. Yeah, so I got all of them done. It's 6 on each one, so 6, 12, 24 braids in total. And if you've never done like dreads, they suck. It takes forever. Just because you have to get them, you know, pretty tight. You don't want it to be loose. So these are pretty tight. I mean, they're not completely tight, but I made them to where they look like the ones from the movie or from the show. So let's glue them on. I'll show you how I do that, and we'll start with the long one. Let me find that long one. There it is. I have some kind of like dingleberries there. I'm just gonna snip those off and get my GE Silicone 1. There it is. That's what I'm using to glue it. It is just like Sil Epoxy, like I told you in the previous parts. Okay, so as far as the location of these, the back left, I just made a little mark with a paint marker right here. So that's the back left. There's one on the back right, same spot as the left side, just on the right side. And then on the left of the face, I've got right next to the eyes, there's a mark. I'm gonna put one right here, and then I'm gonna put one right down here on his jaw. On the right hand side, I'm going to put one a little bit under his eye, because these hang down a little bit further. A little bit under his eye right there on his cheek, and then another one right underneath it. So you can go back and watch this video and see exactly where I'm putting them. So first we're going to start with the back left, which is this one right here. I'm just going to take and these right here, these clamps come in handy. If you don't have those, you can get some of these. I got these at Harbor Freight. These work pretty good too. I mean, you just clamp them on there and you stick your braid on. So let's get this one. I'll try this Harbor Freight one. I haven't tried it yet. Put a little bit of silicone on the flat part that you made of your braid or your dread. And let me get it a little smashed around there. Set that down. Then you just take your dread, stick it in that spot right there. Take your clamp. I'm gonna use one of these. And clamp it down. And yes, you will get silicone on your hand. Just be sure when you're doing this, if you get silicone on your hand or on your gloves, don't grab the front of the face, because you don't want to take that, you don't want to change the finish of the face. This stuff dries like glossy, and his face is kind of like semi-gloss. Right now it looks not glossy at all, but whenever I clean it up, it'll have a little bit of a shine, like a tiny bit of a sheen to it. So just be careful not to get that silicone on your face, on the front part of the face. You can get it on the sides and the cheeks, because that's all going to be covered in hair. Alright, so there's one of them. Let's get that out of the way. Now let's do this one right here. So take one of your shorter dreads. Now, what I was saying earlier about the length, these are the 48 inches that they come in the package. I did the dreads on those, and then I folded them in half and cut them in half. So these are approximately 24 inches. But whenever they hang, they'll hang just like that. They'll hang probably, I mean, it looks like it's almost about 2 feet down, but it's probably not. Let me clean this up. So now we're just going to put some glue or some silicone on this. And stick it on there and clamp it. And it will want to get away from you too, just so you know, because you're clamping onto silicone. So, oh yeah, there it goes. Dang it. Yeah, this is gonna happen. When you try to clamp on the silicone, the face is EcoFlex, so it just smashes down. I mean, it'd be kind of like trying to clamp something onto your skin. It's hard to do. Let me clean this up. Put it back on here. Probably got too much freaking glue, that's why it's sliding off like that. Let me try one of these little clamps here. I kind of like that one better. Just clean that. All right, there's one, or there's two. All right, well, we can do the other one. And this is kind of sticking out right here. You can't really tell in the video, but see how that's kind of sticking out? I can come back and clip that off. straighten it up whenever we get it. After it gets stuck on there, you can kind of fix them up a little bit. All right, let's do the next one. This one will stick right there. Put the silicone on this part. There we go. I'm gonna use these little ones. These things are nice. A little Harbor Freight. I think they were like $1 or something. I tried to go to Ace Hardware yesterday and find some more clamps, but they only had like 2 clamps in the entire store. So I said I'll get those 2 and go somewhere else tomorrow. All right. As far as the direction that I'm gluing these, as you notice, they're coming off of the face like this. This is the direction that the hair is going to be coming off of the face. That's how you glue them. So they're going to be coming this way, and the back is coming this way. Let's do this other side now. If I can do it without messing these up. I think I'm gonna put another clamp on that top one there. There we go. See, all I did is put a clamp on that part that was sticking up, and now it's not sticking up anymore. All right, now this side. We'll do this, the back right first. Let's see here. I like this one. Putting the silicone on. Sticking it on. And clamping it. Now what I'm doing right here is whenever it smashes the silicone out from underneath it, I'm just kind of smearing it around the edges just to get a good adhesion. All right, 2 more to go. Let's do this one. Top right cheek. Probably couldn't see that, but I can't. The angle is so weird. All I'm doing is the same thing I did on the other side. Funky angle here. And the last one. Taking my clamp, sticking it on there, and clamping it. All right, that is this ugly guy with his dreads clamped on. So I'm gonna leave this to sit. It usually will be, dried or cured in, about 20 minutes, but I like to let it sit for about a good hour or so before I take the clamps off and start messing with it. But we'll be back pretty soon and we'll start doing the hair. It's gonna be pretty much just like hair in any other Wookiee. I'm gonna start with the back and work my way up to the top of the head, and then work my way from the side right here all the way to the face, which Krrsantan is actually pretty bald, like right around his nose and under his eyes, because he's got the bags. Even his stash right here is pretty bald. It just comes down kind of on the sides. So we'll get started on that when we come back. We'll do the hair. So I wanted to do this video. I messed up on the braids, or on the dreads. When I was telling you about the length, the longest one is, okay, so I've got one right here. This is on the bottom. Let's say it's on the bottom left. The one on the bottom left is shorter. The one right above that on the cheek, it's kind of like high up on the temple. That one is the really long one. That's the one that swoops around the back of the head and flaps over the right shoulder. And then the one on the very back is, the same size as the other ones. So just so you know, I fixed all of these before after I had done that video. But yeah, the longest one is the second one up. So it kind of swoops, it looks like it's on kind of like the top part of the head right here when you have the beads on it, but it's really, I have it mounted like right here on the temple. So it's this one right here. So anyways, I just wanted to tell you that so that you know where the location of the longest one is, because I messed up on that last video telling you about where it was supposed to go. I said it was on the very back, on the back left, and it's not. It's right under it. All right, everybody. So now we've got the dreads all attached. They're all stuck on there real good. And it's time to start doing the hair. So what I usually do is I'll just do like a kind of a guideline mark for the top middle of the head. So I'm just gonna go right where his side of his face is. Make a mark right there. Go on the other side, make a mark, and then join those with a line. So now I kind of have a guideline of how I need to keep the hair straight. If you can see that right there. Just a kind of a guideline. And I'll start on the back here. I'm gonna do just probably a row, one row, and then I'll just do a time lapse of me going and doing the hair, because you don't need to see me glue hair on for 4 hours. That's not how long this mask will take, but that's how long. I have 3 other ones to do too. So you just take your GE Silicone 1 right above where the hairs stop or start on the other ones. Take a little bead of silicone there. And I usually, these are 8 inches long, so half the length of, because we use 16 to latch hook on the cowl. So that's folded in half, so it's 8 inches. So we use 8 inches starting on the back. And you just take a little pinch of hair, maybe like this, and you just lay out, quite a few bundles of it. I'm just laying out some bundles of hair right now. You take your little bundle that you're going to glue on, flatten it out. Now you got a flat bundle there. And then you just stick it on there and smash the silicone into the hair and push it up. So there's one. And you just keep going. Flatten it out. Stick it on. And there's that. I'll go to this back part right here. Take a bead of caulking. Flatten it out. Flat. I need some more hair. tiny section right here left. I think I'm gonna cut. This is one, whenever I glued it, it kind of sticking up a little bit right there. I'm just gonna see if I can cut that little section off. So now it's not sticking up. Okay, so there we go. First row done. The next row, I'll just start right where the hair ends. Show you on this side. Right where that hair ends, I'll put another bead of caulking. And start the next row. Smaller section. And that's what you do. Just continue on section after section, and then you try to keep it straight. When you get up to this point, you want to keep the hair flowing. I'll put a little arrow. You want the hair flowing like that towards the back of the head. So his hair is going to be going straight back once you get to this section. So as you start doing these on the side, you start turning them a little bit and turning them until they're pointing that way, if that makes sense. You want the hair going in the direction that the hair follicles would be going. So I'm going to go to the time lapse of me doing the hair, and we'll get to this point right here, and then I'll show you what we do next. So whenever you get to, I wanted to cut into the time lapse and show you this. When you get to one of the braids or one of the dreads and you have this glob of glue, you know, I usually put, like, when it starts to line up with it, I'll put a bead across the top of it, like so. And then I'll do just like we've been doing. I'll just do a line of hair across the top of it. Just so it kind of ties all that hair, it ties it all together. so that it's not just a glob right there underneath the hair. Just like that. So now it's just kind of, the hair is on top of the braid, and you can kind of tie that into the braid or the dread whenever it's all dry and everything. And then I'll just continue on. All right, so we've got to the top of the head there, like where I've marked that line. And now we're just gonna continue on up to the brow. And that's whenever I get to, you know, like in between the scars and stuff, I'm not gonna glue on top of the stars, or the scars, goodness. I'm gonna glue to the side of them. So I'll come back whenever we're completely done hairing, and then I'll punch a couple of little hairs throughout the sides of the scars and stuff like that, just to look a little more realistic. But for the meantime, when we come to that point, I'm just gonna skip over the scar and glue to the side, glue the hair to the side. So if you see me doing that, that's what I'm doing. I'm just gonna continue with the, I've got the, it's between 8, it's better to go longer than it is shorter. So this is like between 8. Some of these hairs are longer, like 10 inches. So it depends on where you cut it off of the braid when you get it out of the package or whenever you blend it. Because if you cut the end, you're going to have a tapered end like this. If you cut it out of the middle, you're going to have flat ends on each side, and you have to taper it yourself. So just keep in mind, you're going to need some thinning shears so that you can do the ends of it to get it tapered. It just looks a little more realistic. You can always come back and do it at the end too, but I like to do it as I go. So let's continue gluing. We're going to go up to about right here, right in the middle where his brows meet. We're going to stop right about there, and that's when we're going to start. That's when we'll start punching for that middle part. But I'll probably glue a little further up on the brow, on the actual brow, until about right there, and then we can. Let me look at my. Yeah, that's how I did it. I glued up to about right here. Let me see if I can get you it closer. So up to about right here is where we're going to glue, and then we'll have just a little bit of meaty area there. That's where we're going to punch the white hairs. The white hairs that come off to the side. So let's get going. Okay, so I got the top part. I'll flip it up here and show you how weird he looks. I glued down around the sides, right to the creases that are in the corner of his eyes, and then I glued about to right here on the brow, and about right there in the middle of the brow. So it's all glued on the top. All his hair up here is, this hair is done, minus the punching around his eyes. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna flip it up, and we're gonna work on the bottom here. Now the bottom that's under his chin, I'm doing those on my mask. It's a little shorter just because it was a prototype. I'm doing these a little longer. The first hairs that I put on there are 12. They're about 10 to 12 inches. I cut it off at the ends, so some of the hair, its hair is tapered. So the longest point is about 13 inches or so. We're gonna start gluing that on the bottom here, and then just work our way up. We're gonna work our way up, and right about halfway, I'll go back to doing, 8 inches until we get right under the lip, and then under the lip is all white. We're gonna be punching that. So I'm also going to be doing some on the sides here. I'm not gonna come, so whenever he opens his mouth, Krrsantan doesn't open his mouth very wide, but when he does open his mouth, I'll probably only do, I don't want to interfere with the opening and closing of his mouth, because when I use this silicone, it stiffens it up a little bit. So what I'll probably do is just glue just this little section right here that's like right to the side of his, so from like here up to here, I'll glue hair under his eyes right there. But I'm not gonna glue anything on his mustache, and I'm not gluing anything right here where the silicone flexes. I'm not gluing that. So I'll just glue right here by his nose and by his scar here. And same thing that we did on the top. I'm not gluing on top of the scar. I'm just gluing the hair to the side of the scar, and then we'll come back and punch little fine hairs in there. So that's how we're gonna do that. I will set everything up and we'll get going on time lapse, because you already know exactly how I'm doing the hair. I just put the silicone on and then I squeeze it on through the hair. So I'll do a time lapse until I get until I get all of this done. And then the next thing to do is just gonna be punching the number 60, which is a silver white color. All right, on to the time lapse. All right, so on the sides, I said I was going to do a time lapse, but I want to slow this part down because you just got to be careful not to interfere with the opening of the mouth. So I'll show you exactly where I'm going to start. I'm probably maybe 3 inches from the corner of the mouth. And these hairs I'm gonna use the 8" up to about right there, and then I'll use like probably 4" So let me get some silicone on there. That's just right where on top of that braid. So these are about, 7 inches, 8 inches. And the direction you want this to go is coming off of the cheeks this direction. So I'm kind of doing it upwards towards the scar. There we go. More little spot right there. Okay. I'm trying to show you as best I can. It's extremely hard to film this and get it the way that I want to get it. So let me get these shorter hairs here lined up. I don't need very many. That should do it, I think. And then I'm going to do just right here, right to the side of that scar, and then just barely a little bit right here to this side. I don't know if you can see on camera or not, but there's wrinkles right here. I don't want to get all into those wrinkles, so I'm kind of staying to the side. Side of those. Okay. There's a little spot right there. Little spot right here that I missed, I guess, earlier. Okay. I like the way that looks. And now we're going to get the other side of that scar. And area. Okay, so that's a little bit better. I still want to get up to about right here, so I'm going to put one right there and see how far that goes up, just to that underneath that scar there. See if you can see that. Well, that's not bad actually. The rest of it, I think I'm just gonna punch it because I don't want to interfere with the opening and closing of the mouth. So I'll just flip it over and do the other side. Easier said than done whenever these dreads are getting tangled. There we go. So now I'm just gonna do right here up to about right there. The nice thing about Krrsantan is his face is pretty bare. Like, he doesn't have a whole lot of hair on the front part of his face, which is kind of nice. Okay. Maybe one right here. Not trying to get too much on that, the bags under his eyes. So I think that's probably going to be all that I'm going to do, if you can see that. The rest of it, I will just punch it. So whenever it just sets up or dries, I'll come back and I'll show you right before I start punching the hair. I'll show you exactly where I stopped at as far as gluing, and then that should help you out whenever you're doing your mask. All right, wait till the next part. All right, what's up, guys? So where we left off on the last part was I stopped gluing. I finished the gluing. So when you finish gluing, this is what it's going to look like. So you glue to like about right there, all the way around where the creases are, and then you glue, I don't know, it's probably, let me measure that. So from the corner of the mouth to where I stopped gluing is about it's about 2.25 inches. And then you just kind of swoop around. You don't want to interfere, like I said, with the opening of the jaw. So you just kind of go around where it flexes. So you just come up and then come up right here to the side, stop right there. The rest of it is just punching. So you're going to punch all the way around the eyes, all the way up to the really fine hairs right up in here, then all the way up to the corner of the nose, and then you'll do the mustache, of course, but it's pretty thin right in the middle. And then you'll do under the chin. Most of this is white. You'll do a little bit of punching on the bottom with just the black and gray, and then you'll do white right underneath the lip. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do a time lapse, because it's, I mean, if I do a video of me punching this entire thing, it's gonna be a really long video. So I'll just tell you ahead of time, like the lengths of the hairs. So when I first start out and I'm doing, you know, the very bottoms, or not the very bottoms, but the sides right here, I'm gonna start out with, you know, 8 inches of hair. So there'll be 8 inches on the bottom here until I get about right there. And then I'll start getting smaller. So then I'll go to like 6 inches, and then when I get up here, these will be like 4 inches, or maybe even shorter than that. Around the eyes, I'm gonna do 8 inches, in the black and the gray, and then whenever I get to the white, I'll stop and show you, because that's longer. It's longer because it kind of swoops up to the back or to the side. So when I get to the white hairs, that's whenever I'll stop, and then I'll tell you about the links that I'm going to use on that. But start off with, you do 8 inches right here, work your way up because it gets shorter as it gets closer to the nose. So 8 inches, 6 inches, 4 inches, 3 inches, so on. So I'm going to start the time lapse, and we're just going to start punching. We'll just do the sides, work our way up, then do this other side, work our way up, and then do the eyes and under the chin, and then we'll come back and do the white at the very end. So, all right, time lapse. Okay, I'm gonna do a short little I did this on my Chewy too, so if you want to, you can go watch that one also. This is the same. It's just showing you how I punch. So these are the 8 inches, like I said I was gonna start with. And I cut them straight at the end here. And then you just hold them in your hand, not real tight, but not real loose either. And then you just find where you're wanting to punch it, and you stick your felting needle. This has little barbs on it. I don't know if it'll even show up on camera. It has little barbs so it grabs the hair. And then you pull the hair out. I don't know if you can see that hair. There it is. See how it's dangling out there? And you just let it out right there. So you just keep going like that. Punch it, pull it out, punch it, pull that hair out. And I'm doing them like, I don't know, I don't do them on Krrsantan. I don't do them as thick as I do them on Chewy, because Chewy's face is a lot thicker than Krrsantan's. So I'm just kind of, spacing them out. Once you get going, you can figure out how you do your spacing. You'll probably do way too much in one area to start off with, because that's what I did, and I think that's pretty much what everybody does. But you just keep punching, and you'll feel like you're not getting anywhere, but then you look at it and you're like, oh wait, yeah, I've moved up quite a bit. So you just keep on punching, and you'll get to you'll get to where you know how far to do the hairs. But you want them to go, so on the side of the hat, you want them to go to the direction that the hair is going to be falling. So on Krrsantan, it's going to be falling this way, down and, to the side. So that's the direction that I'm punching the hair in. Anyways, just wanted to do that before I get to the time lapse. Yo! Alright, so now we've got everything punched except for the white. If you look at him, he has a no mustache. I went down to about right. Let's see if I can get close enough. Right there. So we got a little space there to punch. And I came down right here. I came up on the sides, you know, about right here. And I do it really thin, up all the way to about right there with the black and gray color. So all of that is done. Now he just needs the white. So the white is gonna go under his lip. It's gonna go on his mustache, and I'll show you how we do that later. As far as it kind of is just white, like right here. So I use makeup on the front part, black makeup, and then kind of powder it to where it tapers down. And then we got white right above the brows, or right above the eyes. So let's get at it. All right, so we're gonna start off with the under the chin. I'm gonna do a mixture of, you know, like 3 to 5 inches, and then we'll trim it as we go, or whenever we finish. So 3 to 5 inches, and then we'll go back and trim it when we're done. But these are about 4, and I'm gonna throw some of these 5s in here. Just kind of mix them around a little bit. And we'll just start punching it in. So his white goes all the way across under his lip from like here to here. So you can just start wherever you want, wherever you left off with that gray, and just continue punching. What I'm gonna do is I'll do a section, and then I'll show you how I do the other section, and then I'll come back and I'll do all of it together in a time lapse, because this video is getting really, really long. And I mean, you get the idea. You punch the hair, now you've got white under the lip. It's just a matter of punching it up to right under where the markings of the texture on the lip is. So right underneath the lip there is where you stop. So there we go, we got it started. He's got some white under his lip. Now we're gonna do the mustache. So the mustache, you do it just like you do any other Wookiee, except when you get up here, it's super thin. So I'll do like, you know, I'll start punching right here. This angle is horrible. It's hard to show you this and do it the right way. Let me see if I can turn it this way. There we go. So, let me get a longer one. You just punch away. Just kind of like I said earlier, you're leaving off right where you left off, or you're starting right where you left off on the other one, on the other color, which was the blackish gray color. And then we're just gonna this angle. Horrible angle. If you grab too many hairs, like I just did, you can pull that hair or pull that bundle of hair, and it'll get, you can get the, like, see, I had like 5 hairs in there that I accidentally pushed in. If you grab too many of them, you can always kind of pull them out, so don't worry. It's better to have the least amount of hairs as possible inside of like the follicle, because it looks more realistic, if that makes any sense to you. There we go. That's pretty long. Okay. Now we're talking. Yeah. See if I can show you this. I've got this direct light on it, so it's kind of hard to tell, but you can see the white right here coming down. That's what you want. You got a lot of noise in the background. I've got my 3D printers going like crazy right now, printing Boba Fett armor. So, sorry for that. It is kind of nice that you can just like put a file in your printer, and it does a lot of the work for you. It makes it, and although you got to do a lot of sanding. Okay. So we got that coming down there. So now we're going to start going even thinner right here. Space these follicles out quite a bit. I'm only doing the mustache because this takes, or this has to be, I don't know how to explain it. This won't take as long for me to show you, whereas the rest of it, it's pretty easy to explain. This is, you just got to kind of eyeball it really and look at references, see how thin it is, because he's real thin right up on his, close to his philtrum, which is this area right here, if you're not familiar with that word. Okay, I'm just about to wear out. Gosh dang it, I grabbed too many hair. Just about where I want to be on this. Let's see if I can get you in. All right. They're very spaced apart. Try to get one hair in the mustache, because that's what's seen the most, and you want it to look good. I think that's pretty close to where I want it. Just a little bit further up. Just a few hairs though. You don't want too many. All right. And I'm gonna tip them up so you can see that. See if I can zoom in. See how thin that is towards the philtrum, towards the middle? It's pretty thin. It also looks a lot more thin right now on camera because this dang, I have a ring light on. Let me turn it off for a second. There you go. And so this contrast color here, this white, it's not all gonna be that color. So we're, like I said, we're going to probably about like right halfway there and up. I'm going to kind of trim this just a tad on the bottom here, and then I'm going to use makeup, like a black powder makeup, and then darken this up from here to here. So it will be more of a gradual white at the ends here of the corner of his mouth. So let's turn this light back on. So now I'm going to show you how I do the brow. I'll do the brow over the scars. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. Sorry I'm moving this around. It's really hard to show you punching hair on a video. Extremely hard. To start off with the whites on the brow, I'm using these are probably about 11 inches or 10 inches long. And these are going to be, I'll come back after I do all this punching and trim, but to start off with, it's better to go long than short because you can't make the hair grow, you can cut it. So what we're going to do is on his eyes, it's like right between here is where you punch the hair, and just maybe a little bit right here, but most of it's going to be kind of like more towards his nose. So we're going to just focus on right underneath these scars where they start, and then right to this side of them. So I'm just going to start on the bottom and work my way towards the eye socket. And don't be afraid to poke close to the scars because you want it to kind of cover it. You can't see his scars like perfectly. Actually, some people that I talked to when they first saw Krrsantan on the show were like, oh, he doesn't have the scars. He's not like the comics. And then I said, no, you can see the scars. It's just covered up by hair. So we're going to cover a little bit of it with hair, but you can always style it and move it. Oh, this hair is getting tangled. It always drives me crazy when it does that. If your hands get sticky or sweaty and you poke too many hairs in, it will grab the hairs and pull them up, and so they'll get all tangled, and it's so aggravating. I've been punching hair for 4 days now though, so I'm just kind of aggravated with it. Oh gosh, so aggravating. Just take your time. This is what to me makes or breaks the look of the mask. And the reason, I mean, of course the sculpt is what really makes or breaks the mask, but I've seen a lot of masks that on Krrsantan, they just do like a thick glob of white right here and make it come to the side, but it's like extremely over contrast between the, like no animal has just a solid color. Well, I guess some do, but the majority of animals that have different colors, it kind of like fades into each other. So that's what I'm going for. I don't want it to be like a completely just big glob of white hair right over his eye, because it's not, it doesn't look like that in the show. So we're just doing a little bit at a time, going around the scar, going underneath the eye there. Like I said, you could, if you feel like you didn't like the way it looked when you just punched it, pull it out. I mean, it takes a little bit to get them out, but I mean, you can pull them out pretty simple or pretty easily. And then if you get done with it and you don't like the way you punched all that, just pull it out. Do it over again. That's the thing that I do like about punching hair. So even though it takes a while, you could always redo it if you wanted to. Let me cut this. Excuse me. Right before I was doing this video, or started to do this video, I broke my other, it's just a felting needle. I ordered this on Amazon, and I'll put a link in the description for it. But it has like its own little holder for it, which is cool. But what I've been using since I started doing these was, and I'm sure it's dry by now, I could probably use it actually. Yeah, it is the same type of thing. It's just a felting needle, but with a piece of dowel that I, screwed a hole in the middle of it and then put that felting needle in there and epoxied it in. But it's longer right here, and it also is, you can't see it on camera. Yeah, you can. It's squared off on one end, and I don't know why, but I'm just so used to it now that like I have to. I was so frustrated when I broke that. I need my lucky hair punch tool. Okay, I think we're good right in that little section, so we will start working our way this way. I'm still using those long hairs. These are like 10 inches long. You can also, if you accidentally grab some of the hairs that are already punched, you can stick your felting needle in there and kind of straighten them out. Or do like this. Keep grabbing that hair. See if I can show you where we're at right now. So this is pretty long. It doesn't all need to be that long, so we're going to trim it when we're done. But you can see how you can make it cover the scars up, or you can kind of move it to the side and then expose them a little bit more. Let me do the rest of this white on this eye, and then we're gonna go to a time lapse of me finishing it out, because this video is gonna be about 3 hours long, maybe more than that. Okay, now I'm using shorter hairs. These are probably 5 inches, 5 to 6 inches long. This is just to get some more white in there, some more contrast between the blackish gray to the white. This is actually number 60. It's a silver white is what it's called. So on this mask, I go to about where the wrinkles are on the side. I just do a couple of them, like close to that. You know, a few punches there. Then I work my way back, getting some more white in there. And then I need to add a little more in here. All right, I think that does it for that. I'll face it up right so you can see. Okay, so we got that over the left eye done. Like I said, we'll come back and trim that as short as you want it, or as long as you want it. I would just look at reference pictures and see how you like it. I kind of left mine, some of them long, so that they're gonna blend in, but I just wanted it to be to where you can tell that it's different over the eye. Excuse me. And then we did this mustache on this side. We're gonna make up the top part of it so that it blends back into this, and it just has a white coming down. I'll probably trim that a little bit too, not much though, because it comes down pretty far. And then we started on the white under the mouth. So under the mouth is all white right here. So where the kind of like where the just like where you have, if you're a guy and you have hair under your chin, where it starts, that's where you want to stop the hair. So we'll stop it right there. I'm gonna go ahead and do a time lapse and finish it out, finish the punching, and then we'll come back at the end and we'll do the final touches on it. Just kind of like we'll do the makeup stuff and just finish it out. Anyways, all right, wait for the next one. All right, so there you have it. I finished punching the white silver hair. Krrsantan is ready for styling, and I'm not going to show you just because I mean, you can figure it out. You just take makeup and dab it on the top parts here, and you can figure out how to trim. You just get some, either a either a razor comb or some these thinning shears and just kind of thin out his stash a little bit. Just be careful and just do a little bit at a time. Then you can thin that out. You can fix his mustache, or not his mustache, his goatee, straighten that out. And then you take that makeup, like I was saying, and just dab it up here on the top so that it darkens the top part, because he's actually only white. If I turn it around and show you mine, he's only white on the corners there. And the same goes for the top up here, where the white comes up. You take your thinning shears and thin that out if you want, just enough to where it kind of blends in with the top, but you want to keep it white right over the eyes. But that's it, guys. That's a Krrsantan mask, all haired up and ready to go. This is going to be a super long video, so I'm sorry for that. But there's just a lot of, whenever you hair these things, there's a lot of different steps, and I wanted to show each one of them. So I hope that it helps you do your mask when you get a hairless, if you get a hairless mask, or if you make your own mask. It will help you hair too, because it's pretty similar to doing any of the other ones too. It's just a matter of, thinning out the hairs where they need to be thinned out, and getting the colors where they need to go. So if y'all aren't subscribed, would you please subscribe and like? I'm getting close. I'm like close to 900, almost to 1,000. My goal was to get to 1,000 by the end of last year, and I didn't do it. I've been so busy, I just haven't had time to do a whole lot of videos, but I do plan on doing some more. So if you could subscribe if you're not already, and like, comment. If you got any questions, I try to get back with everybody. So I appreciate it, and I hope y'all have a good one. Bye bye.